life in quarantine. I mean, how are you doing? It's so nice to finally connect with you, by the way.
I know. I missed you the last time you were on stage.
I know. And now I look.
Is that when we were doing the
Noir episode?
Yes, the Noir episode. Yes, that's right. That's right.
We came for the musical episode as well, but I don't think you were shooting that day either. I definitely want to come back to that, but I just want to check on you first of all. How are you doing emotionally, physically? What's life like right now for you?
Oh my gosh, I'm totally, completely, absolutely fine. Listen, I'm one of the privileged people that, you know, I have a nice home and a backyard and I have space, and I work in a profession where it's not 9 to 5, and I don't live, you know, week to week. So I acknowledge my privilege in that sense. And I think this is a lot harder for example, my neighbor who's across the street, Cindy, and she's a nurse and she is on the front lines, and she is separating herself from her husband and their 1-year-old and living in the basement while she's going to work. So in the scheme of things, I mean, realistically, like, I'm totally, you know, great. I mean, the thing that's been frustrating about this whole situation is more that people aren't doing their part by staying home. And I'm from South Africa, and, you know, South Africa wasn't impacted by Ebola, but Africa is the continent, you know, we're seeing what a virus can do to a country and a people, and how it can impact day-to-day lives. So we were very proactive very early on. And I was trying to talk to my friends, I think the thing about this whole situation is people in America, North America, Europe, like, for the most part, in modern day, like, hasn't lived through something like this or experienced something like this. And then there was a great article in GQ where the writer, I forget her name, I started following her, I'm so sorry, but Google it. It talks about American individualism and how it's dangerous for people, because you have this idea of, like, don't tell me what to do, even if it means it's the best thing for me and everyone else. You know, I want to feel free. And I'm like, come on, this is not the time for any of that. You know, this is a community, a global community coming together to support our first responders and our medical staff in each respective country. And the least we can do, I mean, we're stuck at home with Wi-Fi and Instagram and a cell phone. Like, we're not being called to war, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do want to talk to you about Lucifer, obviously, because I imagine you guys were kind of in the home stretch of filming, right? So how does that affect production?
We were about halfway through the finale episode of the season. So not ideal, but you know what? I am so incredibly proud of my producers and then my studio, Warner Brothers, for taking the action that they did. I was really proud to because I was talking to my entertainment lawyer at the time about, like, what would happen in the industry, and he said, well, you know, Lucifer, from what I hear from the studio, had become like the model show in terms of precautions. So they had not just Purell, but like mobile hand washing stations everywhere. Our props were getting wiped down, our handles to all our trailers, like that kind of stuff. But that's only going to take you so far when you have like a 400 or 500 person crew, you know. So I think it was probably a really tough decision for them. But we are so lucky because 99% of our show was shot. So, you know, if they're going to they can still air the first 8 episodes, and I imagine I don't know, but I imagine it's probably going to be around the same time when we aired the last season, so maybe May, June, and so we're covered, you know. But there's so many shows who there are 3, you know, episodes into their season, or pilots who now, you know, it's kind of going to fall away. And in that, my heart goes out to, you know, the below the line people, the crews, and those actors who booked their first pilot, you know, and like, I remember that feeling. And it's really tough, but like I said, this is supposed to feel uncomfortable, and this time, because I think nothing that was ever great in history that made a real positive change for humanity and the world ever felt great. And I think people just have to remember that.